Hi everybody. Today I'm here with Dean Thomas. Dean is the head coach of the former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley. Uh, how are you, Dean? And how is the situation over there?
It's good, man. I'm actually in his bedroom now. We're training. You know, you never know when you're going to get that call. Things are a little weird right now, but we're being optimistic and hoping that we can get the call soon.
Do you need to use the mask to go out?
Yeah. We need masks to go out, but um, they're not mandatory depending on the state. But it's just a safer thing to do. You know, it's we I like to take precautions, and I don't want to get anybody sick or be sick myself, so um, I wear a mask.
Okay. How did you started your passion for MMA?
My passion for MMA, well, at the end of the day, man, I didn't want to get beat up in the street. So I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. Really, for self defense, man. I just didn't want to get beat up in the street, so I started training so that wouldn't happen. And next thing I know, I was fighting, and the next thing I know, it just became an art for me. So it's just a way to express myself. So like doing jujitsu is such a creative thing, or boxing, trying to be nice and loose and fluid. So I've always used it as a way to express myself.
Okay. Can you follow your guys for training during this quarantine?
Can I follow them? Yeah, well, I have. Well, I'm working with Tyron Woodley, and I'm also working with Jillian Robertson. We're staying at his house, and we're kind of quarantined together, so that we can continue to train and also be safe as well. So it's just kind of us three are kind of getting it in.
Okay. Dean, what do you think about the situation of USC event?
I think it's good. Obviously there are some precautions and people are worried about it, but I still think it's a good thing to keep people working because we eventually have to get back to living anyway. But the whole idea is that if they're safe about it, I think it's a good thing. I mean, there's more risk in going to the gas station right now. There's more risk in going grocery shopping. You're constantly being around people when you're doing those things. But I think that if we maintain our distance from people, keep it a small number of people, no fans, no audience right now, I think it's a good thing that we get back to fighting and slowly but surely get back to our living our lives, because eventually we got to get back to it. We can't live like this forever.
Okay. So you are the head coach of Tyron Woodley. How do you feel to train him, and how did your collaboration start?
It's tough training him because he's such a prime athlete, and he's always been a better athlete than me, even when we started working together. So it's always been tough. But now, like, he's just such a great athlete. He's a little older, but he's still a great athlete. It's crazy. It's amazing the things he can do, even being older. Um, so, but but getting older, we still have to slow it down some because he could do all the great things, just maybe not as long, and that's fine. But it's just such a crazy thing to work with such a high level athlete and performer. But we started our relationship right 13 years ago when he was an amateur, and I met him. I cornered him in a fight as an amateur, and then we just been friends ever since. So it's more than just like coach and athlete. I don't even consider myself as coach. I consider myself his friend, is helping him get to the top and stay at the top.
Okay. What do you think about the purpose of the Promotion One Championship AFC to fighting with the UFC fighter?
Um, what do I think about that happening? The ONE FC and UFC guys fighting together?
Yes, the proposal to fight.
Oh, um, it's a tough situation because I don't think it'll ever happen. But I think it would be good. I think it's good if we could cross promote events, because then we can really see. I mean, I would love to see Um, fighters like Douglas Lima uh, fight in the UFC, fight against UFC guys. I think he might be one of the best welterweights in the world, but we never really get to see it you know, because of the segregation. I would love there to be cross promotions, Bellator, UFC, ONE FC, ONE Championship. It would be great. I think it would be a great thing, but we'd never see it because of the structure of MMA today and the way we have segregated MMA today. We would just never see that.
Okay. You have been part of the reality show Dana White Looking for a Fight. Can you tell us about this experience and did you notice some interesting fighters?
Well, the first off, the experience has always been great. The production team is world class. They're top notch. Dana White is a great guy, despite the reputation that he has. Matt Serra is one of my best friends in the world, so we have a good time, and and we do a lot of dumb things for the entertainment of the people. So I can always appreciate that, being able to put myself in them vulnerable positions to make people laugh. So, but it's a great time. I can't complain about that. I think that, and I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity and the ability to have that platform to still be connected to MMA. Because a lot of fighters that came up in my time are long and forgotten about now. So the fact that I still have this opportunity to connect to MMA from that perspective is still something that I can appreciate greatly. But yeah, I'm just thankful to be able to have that and to keep going with it.
Okay. What is the best way to grow a fighter?
The best way to grow a fighter is to know about a fighter in terms of their personality, their upbringing, their body type, because every fighter is a little bit different. Tall fighter, short fighter, and that's just when we're talking about physically. But every fighters are different because mentally and personally they grew up different and they have different personalities. So some people have more aggressive personalities, so their fighting style might be a little more aggressive. Some people might be a little more passive, so their fighting style might be a little more passive and defensive, which doesn't mean that they have to be ineffective. It just means that their style might be more of a counter fighter style. So the best way to grow a fighter is you have to learn about that fighter, see what makes that fighter tick, see what makes that fighter work, and develop them from that perspective, from their perspective, not your own perspective.
Okay. You like other fighter in the UFC roster?
Do I like other fighters in the UFC roster? Absolutely. I think there's a lot of great fighters on the UFC roster. I like a lot of the younger guys coming up. And I've been very open about this one. I like Sean O'Malley. I think he's a great fighter. It's unfortunate that what happened to him in terms of the drug testing or the tests. But honestly, it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see him, but it might be better for him because I think it gave him more of an opportunity to get better and not have to put himself out there in a fight so frequently. But I think that the time that he was off, I think he got better. And I think that we're going to see more from him. So I think he's a great fighter. But, the entire roster is full of great fighters. But I'm interested in seeing some of the younger guys coming up, seeing how well they do. Sean O'Malley's one of them.
Is Sean O'Malley the next Conor McGregor?
I wouldn't go that far to say that. I think that he doesn't have what Conor has in terms of star power. I don't believe. I mean, he's doing his thing, but I think Conor is just a natural. Like you have this natural attraction to Conor based on who he is as a person. I think Sean O'Malley he doesn't have that star power. And what I mean by star power is like in Hollywood, there's certain people who have star power. Leonardo DiCaprio has star power. There are actors just as good as him that may not have the star power as him. But I think Conor has that star power over most guys just based on who he is and his personality.
Okay. Dean, what do you think about the last match of Tyron Woodley against Kamaru Usman?
I mean, it was obviously a tough matchup, and um, it didn't go our way that night. Um, no excuses to be made. He just had a bad night. Some just don't show up, and that's really what happened. So, but that's something we it was good because we can look at that and go, this is where we don't want to be. We can't have nights like this. So, moving forward, we just use that as more fuel to move forward in a positive way and say we're not going to have nights like this no more. We're going to go out there and perform.
Okay. Dean, what kind of project do you have for 2020?
Well, obviously, I just left American Top Team as a coach to go off and do my own thing. So I want to be able to develop fighters uh, or more on a personal level and get a little bit more intimate with them as opposed to sharing them with the team. So I selfishly left the team atmosphere to kind of do my own thing. So I really want to try to develop something going forward, personally and professionally in the sense of developing fighters. Also, I'm doing an online project called the MMA Manifesto, in which I can share my information with the masses of people. So there'll be a lot of different ways to get at me. And you can also check me uh, on 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 Instagram at Dean Thomas or at the Firm MMA. And I'm also on the radio. So if you have a smart speaker, just tune into ESPN 1063, ESPN West Palm. So I'm everywhere, man. So like if anybody ever needs to get a hold of me, I'm not too hard to find.
Okay. Dean, thank you for your time and for this opportunity. It was an honor to talk with you.
Thank
Do you
you.
have something to say to the Italian fans?
Wow, I love the Italian fans, and I love the Italian fighters too. I've gotten the opportunity to work with some of the Italian fighters. Most recently, I just worked with Mara. What is her last name? Mara
Mar-
Maravilla. That's yeah. I got a chance to work with her. I worked with her before, like 2 years ago, and I recently got a chance to work with her. And I think she's a great fighter. And yeah, I think the Italian fighters are great. So yeah, I look forward to seeing more from the Italian fighters coming into the future.
Thanks, Dean.
All right, no man, I'll talk to you soon.